It all started when I noticed a change in my wife's behavior. She had grown distant, secretive, and strangely defensive whenever I asked her simple questions. At first, I thought it was stress from work or family pressure, but deep down, something told me there was more to it. I decided to keep calm and observe quietly. Instead of confronting her immediately, days turned into weeks, and her actions became harder to ignore. She stayed out late, her phone was always locked, and she smiled at texts that she quickly hid from me. I tried to talk to her, but she brushed me off, saying I was overthinking. That's when I decided I needed proof. If she thought she could fool me forever, she was wrong. One evening, she told me she was going out with her friends. Instead of questioning her, I simply nodded and pretended to be asleep when she left. Moments later, followed her discreetly. My heart sank when I saw her getting into another man's car. They laughed together as though they had been doing this for months. That night, something inside me broke. But I also knew this wasn't the end. The next morning, I acted normal. I made her breakfast, smiled, and kissed her cheek like nothing had happened. She had no idea I had seen everything. I started planning my move carefully, making sure she wouldn't see it coming. If she wanted to play games, I would show her how it felt to be on the losing side. Over the next few days, I began collecting evidence, screenshots of her texts, pictures of her late night meetings, and even a recording of her sweet whispers on the phone that weren't meant for me. Each piece of evidence was like a knife to my chest, but it also fueled my determination. She thought she was clever, but I was one step ahead. I knew that confronting her directly would only lead to lies and tears. So instead, I decided to make her face the truth in a way she would never forget. I arranged a small gathering at our house, inviting close family and a few trusted friends. She thought it was just a casual dinner. Little did she know, it was the stage for her downfall. The evening started with laughter and chatter. She played the perfect wife in front of everyone, smiling and serving food, while I watched her carefully. At the right moment, I cleared my throat and said I had something important to share. The room went silent as I connected my phone to the TV screen. Her smile froze when the first photo appeared. One by one, the pictures and recordings played. Her late-night meetings, her messages of, "I miss you," to another man, her secret phone calls. The room was filled with gasps, and her face turned pale. She stammered, trying to explain, but the evidence was undeniable. For once, she had no words left to hide behind. Her family stared at her in shock, while my friends shook their heads in disbelief. She ran to me, begging me to stop, pleading for forgiveness. But I didn't raise my voice. I just looked her in the eye and said calmly, "This is the lesson you will remember for the rest of your life. Betrayal has consequences." She broke down in tears, realizing the gravity of what she had lost. Her dignity, her reputation, and the trust I once gave her so freely, all shattered in a single night. She begged me not to leave, but my silence was louder than her cries. She finally understood what it meant to be caught in her own web of lies. That night, I packed my things and walked out. I didn't yell, I didn't curse, I left with my head held high, leaving her to face the ruins she created. She thought she was smart enough to play with my heart, but I showed her that every action has a price. The next morning, I heard from her family that she couldn't even look them in the eyes. She had been humiliated in front of everyone she cared about. She kept calling me, sending endless messages, but I didn't reply. My silence was the sharpest punishment of all. She now lives with the memory of that night, a memory that will haunt her forever. Every time she looks at her phone, every time she thinks of lying again, she will remember the moment her world collapsed in front of everyone. As for me, I moved forward with a stronger heart. Painful as it was, I refused to let betrayal define me. Instead, I turned it into my strength. She taught me what deception feels like, but I taught her a lesson she will never forget. And that's how I made sure she would remember for the rest of her life that no betrayal goes unpunished, and no liar escapes the truth.